I am Saumya Vashishtha and we are here at Government College Navalgarh.
Hello. Now today there is fifth and the last story from the book Pointed Vision. This story is named Am I Blue? Am I Blue is written by Alice Walker. Alice Walker was born in 1944. She is an American poetess and fiction writer. Her parents were poor sharecroppers. Her mother's grandmother was a Cherokee Indian, while her father's great grandmother mother was a slave. Alice is deeply proud of her inheritance, which has influenced her work and led to her political activism in civil rights and women's movement. She has her political activism in civil rights had repeated frustration in love and marriage. Her first volume of poetry was Once. Her first collection of short stories was in Love and Trouble, Stories of Black Women, Meridian, her second novel. Thus, mm, Alice Walker is a novelist, story writer, and the poetess also. Uh, this story, Am I Blue, is uh, is the story of a horse. Blue is the name of a horse. The story is a touching accounts of what happened to a horse named Blue, confined to a 5 acres, beautiful but boring fenced in meadow. There he is put together with the mare, and after a few months, his brown impregnated companion is taken away. This incident leaves Blue shattered from within and utterly disgusted with the way of human beings. He becomes merely an image of freedom as horses tend to be. Alice Walker shows in this story that even dumb animals experiences trials and tribulations much as human beings do. The story illustrates the law of cause and effect. It also conveys a powerful message about the oneness of life and reverence for all that is living. Racism and even are particles and partial attitude spring out of the every prejudice we harbor against animals. We see animals simply in terms of usefulness and functions as assets, entertainment, or food. Most people give no importance to animals' right. Little do we care about the pain and misery we cause to the animals. Am I Blue 10 in the first person. For about 3 years, my companions I reunited. The storyteller of her and her companion rented a small house in the country and that stood on the edge of the large meadow and about 20 fences area of about 5 acres. It was a beautiful meadow. One day, the storyteller saw a large white horse grazing in the fences area. Soon she learned that the horse, whose name was Blue, belonged to a man who lived in another town. He had left the horse with the narrator's neighbors for boarding. Occasionally, two children were seen riding Blue. After riding for 10 or 15 minutes, they would go away and were not seen again for a month or more. There were many apple trees in the storyteller's yard. One tree was by the fence. Blue could almost reach this tree. The storyteller and her companion gave the horse apple to eat. The horse ate the apples with great relish and come regularly for them. One day the storyteller was shocked when she looked into Blue's eyes. She was in them the horrible expression of loneliness and boredom. As a child, she used to talk to animals and could understand the expression in their eyes. But now, when she had grown up, she had forgotten that human animals and non-human animals can communicate quite well with each other. This happens with all of us. We change as we become adult, and but animals are not likely to change. They are completed creations. The storyteller didn't know how long Blue had been there on these five beautiful boring acres. After a year they had arrived, he was still there. In the second year, something happened on the Blue's life. One morning, looked outside the window of her room. She saw another horse at the end of Blue's field. It was brown horse, and Blue appears to be afraid of it. But in about a week time, the two become friends. They embedded and galloped together. Now Blue did not come so often to the apple tree, and when he did, he brought his new friend with him. He was a mare. It was a mare. There was now a different look in his eyes. It was a look of freedom and confidence. After some times, the mare became pregnant. One day, the storyteller saw the same old sad expression in Blue's eyes. It was because his friend had been taken away from him. Blue's pattern Blue's partner had been put up with him so that they could make and she could conceive. Since that was done, she had been taken back by her owner. Blue now looked like a crazed person. He galloped furiously and around. His five beautiful acres. He winning until he could not. He tore at the ground with his hoofs. He butted himself against a tree in his meadow. He constantly looked towards the road down which his partner had gone. His look in his eyes was extremely painful and full of grief. It was a look of disgust with with human being and with life. It was a look of deep hatred. The storyteller was said to think that most people give no importance to the rights of animal. We care little about the pains and misery we cause to the animals who are their companion. One day, a friend came to visit the storyteller. They sat down and sticks as they were talking of freedom and justice for all. I am eating misery. I am eating misery, thought the narrator. As she took the first bite, she spat it out. It was reminded of the unfortunate horse that is still living in the meadow adjoining her small house. The whole story tells us about that we should be careful and we should be aware of the rights of animals, and we must be careful about the emotions of animals. Thus, this is a too good story about the mm, freedom of the animals and carefulness about the of the animals. Thank you.